Hello and welcome to Excel Trainings Practical Approach. So the intent of our trainings are basically to create Excel files, tasks that you would use on a daily basis, so that all that you do over here is basically something that you can make use of. And by doing that, you randomly learn a lot of these parts of Excel, which you can further use on other projects. And when you do it on Practical Approach, you're actually seeing how these different elements of Excel comes together to give you a wonderful output like this. So this is basically a task to do tracking, something that these progress bars and these percentages are not important basically. So we all that's important for us is completed, but these are added just for the practice of different charting and how you can customize them to visibly to be more appealing, to the general team. So here if you look at the task, normally what you would do in this is you go add in your new task, go to say 6th Jan, you have a say you have a brunch with friends, okay, and say priority is high but not as medical store, and you change the completed to not started. Now what happens over here is, if you see that you already have 2 tasks over here, and when the third task came to not started, the progress dropped all the way to 50%. Now if I change the priority to 1, you have completed 71% in comparison to the 3. That's because you have given the medical store the highest importance, while brunch with friends is low importance. So if you give this as 1 and equal priority, it shows 33% of your tasks is done. So basically prioritizing your tasks and making sure you do the most important ones first, well, obviously with the dates. So suppose this is 4 and you are looking at this on a 6th Jan afternoon. So you come here and change this to completed, and that means your 90% of the tasks are done, and you can keep adding more in, right? I would also prefer that you delete the completed ones so that you keep afresh with the data, or you can keep adding, but then what will happen with that is you will have too much of tasks, unwanted list of lines down here. So once you're done, you're comfortable, you have clarified what you have done, you can go ahead and delete the completed ones and amend the data according to how you want it, right? So it's completed. Allow the way that graph changes. Alright, so let's get to it before all of you get bored off with literature. So starting off with the new sheet. Alright, now what we'll do is basically do the initial structure. So whenever I do a Excel chart or Excel project, whatever it is, so I would start with how it should look towards the end of the whole project, right? And from there we build back to the columns and the formulas and stuff. Now let's start off with the range. So you would have a serial number, then you have the date, you would have the task description, the priority that you're going to set for each of these tasks, and what's the status of it, right? So this would be the basic must have list of follow-ups or criteria for your tracker. I'll just format this a little bit, right? Okay, now apart from this, on the top you need, say, things to do, percentage, that we can probably add in later. Basically this is what we need, right? So you have the serial number, you have the date, Jan, and I don't know why I go for branch a lot. So let's move to medical store visit. Priority is 5, status completed. Now here, the most common ones that we would be repeating the tasks, or the most common data that would be entering here is that we would be limited to is the priority and the status. The rest of them, serial numbers keep changing, the date keeps changing, task is changing. Priority would be basically 1 to 5, and the status would be either completed, not started, or progress, right? So to make it easy and to make sure whoever's using this doesn't go beyond what we need to do something called as a data validation, which basically says that the user can select data between this range only, right? For that, what you got to do is simple. We'll move a little bit side away because it's not related, which would spoil our table over here. So you create a separate minor small table, okay, and say priority, okay. I'll start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 0 to 5. This is just because 0, why? Because that's to unselect what the user selected first. You'll see as we go forward. All right, now 1 being the least importance, and this one being the highest importance. We can also comment over here so that whoever's using it is clear. So what I did over there is merge. What you do merge is, why you do merge is to combine the cells so that you get one single cell over here to enter the data. Now I'll double click inside. I put star just as a please note kind of a thing, and I'll mention that as 1 being least important and 5 of highest importance. Okay, so this is a comment, so you put it on the right. I'll change the font to a much smaller one just so that okay, or you can put this at the bottom. Yeah, that would be much more. Okay, that's just a FYI for whoever is going to update it. Borders, that means remove all borders. Just add the borders in again. Priority 1 being least important and 5 of highest importance. Okay. Now what we do is, remember to save your files once in a while, otherwise you would lose the entire data. Now where were we? Okay, so what we are trying to do over here is have the user select the value that is between 0 and 5. For that, what you have to do is select all the rows where you want the data to be between your range. Okay, go to data over here and then click on data validation, which is in the data tools. Okay, and allow any value, you change any value to a list. All right, and source of the list is over here, so you select and drag. It selects all the whole range, that is K2 to K7, right? And you click OK. Now whenever the user clicks on these rows or cells, what they get is an option to select between the ranges what you have mentioned over here. If it's 2, then if it's 5, and so on and so forth, right? Delete that for now. Next is status. Similarly, we'll have a status selection. Okay, so that you can avoid spelling issues. People tend to have some they might just, if this was much easier also. So let's say status is say not started to begin with, in progress, and completed. Alright, here we go. I like to format it as we go along, makes it look neat and clean. Okay, save it again. You select the cells where you want this data validation, click on data, data tools, data validation, select the list, and then select the range of values, click OK, and you get